It feels great. I mean, it's to be back home and to premiere our film here means a lot. Being born and raised from Chicago, it's really a dream come true, and so I'm very excited to be here. Yeah, being from here, being Korean American in the city and through the suburbs, we spent a lot of time in churches and just kind of embracing the city and embracing our heritage and culture, but also just kind of growing up as a Korean American, being able to understand our Korean heritage and our background, but also being a Midwesterner in Chicago and just kind of living and being raised with that mindset I think is a really interesting perspective, especially as I've get older, and it's something that I really am interested by, particularly in film. And so yeah, that's kind of my relationship with Chicago. I loved films from a very early age. My mom took me to the theater all the time when I was very young, and so I was raised in the movie theater. And I think as I've gotten older, it wasn't really a choice. I didn't know you could be a film director. It wasn't something, especially I think as a second generation Korean American, it's not something we talk about or really is a career choice. But as I went through college and was just asking myself what I want to dedicate the rest of my life to, I think I started to realize how important film was. And you know, you only get a chance to do something like that a few times in life. And so after college, I moved to Los Angeles to start writing and directing, and that was kind of my path into film. Transplant's about a motivated Korean American surgical resident who trains under a very prideful and hardworking surgeon who's renowned for his work in the field of heart transplantation. And the doctor's name is Jonah Yoon, and he is both from a familial responsibility, but also for his own personal journey, wants to achieve success at a very high level. And so that's what Transplant is about. When I was in Los Angeles, in the Southern California area, when I was first starting, I had some friends who were going through medical school, and it was very hard. Obviously, the work of medical school is difficult, but it was the emotional and psychological trauma that they were going through, specifically done by their peers, their attendings, the older doctors. That was the most troubling for them. And I think when I heard that aspect, it was interesting as a story of like, oh, I don't think people really know about the culture of medicine as much. And so that was kind of the spark of going into Transplant. And then my co-writer, who is also a good friend, David Lee, he went to Johns Hopkins and went through medical school. And so he had first degree experience of what it's like to do that. And so using that spark and using his experiences, we kind of created this film around a character, Jonah, who kind of embodied not just David's experiences, but also my own personal drive and ambition to achieve something in your craft. And that's kind of how, but it's also staying true to the Korean American mindset. And so that's how it kind of all formed together. At the end of the day, I think I make movies just because it's what I truly love. I love watching movies. I spend probably too much time watching movies. I love reading, and I love everything that is about the filmmaking process. And it's very hard, and it's exhausting, and it requires so many different moving parts and people, and it's a very slow process. But at the end of the day, there's nothing like making a film, and it kind of is really what makes me feel satisfied, especially creatively. And I just love storytelling and playing within this world, this fictional world that still carries truth in some ways. And so, yeah, it's, there's nothing like watching a movie in a theater and experiencing it with other people, and just kind of telling a story that hopefully feels unique and original and refreshing. And I hope, yeah, it really is like one of the few, there's nothing like making a film. And so I hope I can continue to do that.
Time sure does fly, doesn't it?
Sure does.
You feel that? That's your family. That's your blood.
Long time, long time, long time.